Have you ever felt like your heart is shattered, like the pieces of your emotions will never fit together again? Pain, disappointment, betrayal, and loss can leave deep scars that make you wonder if joy or trust will ever return. Yet God is not finished with your heart. He is the divine restorer, the one who collects the fragments of your brokenness and carefully weaves them into something beautiful, strong, and whole. Even the wounds that feel permanent are under His loving care, being reshaped into resilience, compassion, and hope. A woman named Hannah experienced this personally after the sudden death of her father. She felt a hollow emptiness that no words could fill, a grief that lingered in every quiet moment. For months, she avoided family gatherings, stayed home from work, and even questioned if she could ever trust God again. One evening, sitting by the window with her Bible open, she allowed herself to cry fully and honestly before God. In that moment of surrender, she sensed His presence softly surrounding her pain. Over the following months, as she continued to pray and lean into Scripture, her heart began to feel lighter. Old wounds started to heal. Her trust slowly returned, and she discovered a depth of empathy for others who suffered that she had never known before. What had once felt like irreparable heartbreak became a source of spiritual growth and emotional wisdom. Scripture reassures us that God specializes in restoration. In Psalm 147:3 it says, "He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds." Notice that the verse doesn't promise that life will be free of pain. It promises that God actively works to heal the brokenness. Emotional wounds are not ignored, dismissed, or minimized. They are tenderly tended by His Spirit. God's restoration is both gentle and powerful, transforming what once caused despair into a foundation for spiritual strength. In Isaiah 61:1, we read, "The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is on me, because the Lord has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor, to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom for the captives and release from darkness for the prisoners." God's heart is intimately involved in our emotional restoration. He anoints us with His presence to bring healing, to restore what has been lost, and to make us vessels of hope for ourselves and others. Even when it feels like our hearts are fragile, His Spirit strengthens, comforts, and renews them from the inside out. Jesus Himself modeled this restoration. In Matthew 11:28-30, He invites, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls." Rest for the soul begins with surrendering emotional pain to God. He does not simply cover up our hurt, He transforms it, replacing despair with hope, heaviness with peace, and fear with trust. When God restores your emotional heart, you discover that vulnerability is not weakness, but strength. Your past pains become sources of empathy. Your tears become channels of grace, and your moments of brokenness become opportunities for God to display His faithfulness. Restoration is not just recovery. It is a divine upgrade of your emotional and spiritual capacity, enabling you to love deeper, trust more fully, and live with courage. So if your heart feels fractured today, remember that God is at work. He sees every tear, knows every ache, and is carefully restoring what was broken. Trust Him in the process. Let Him guide your healing, and watch as your emotional heart is transformed into a testimony of His love and power. God bless you.